North Charleston rail traffic is on track to get a whole lot busier, and city officials are working with the county to fund a $5 million study to determine whether an overpass could be a solution.
It's all a part of the working draft of the potential transportation sales tax program. Live 5's Maya Brown spoke with city and county officials today to learn more about the proposed study and its purpose.
North Charleston's rails and ports are gearing up to be full steam ahead with more trains, more cargo, and a lot more traffic in the coming years. So what is the solution to keep the traffic flowing? Well, a potential new study could decide whether an overpass is the solution. With the state port's new public rail yard and a major terminal expansion at the former paper mill site, officials say capacity could triple in the coming years, increasing traffic at railroad crossings.
The city of North Charleston was founded with the idea that industrial, residential, and agricultural lands could all be together, right? We are a community that lives with trains, but they do have an impact to our community. As port and rail operations increase in the next decade or so, we anticipate there'll be a lot more impact to our community.
City leaders want to conduct a $5 million overpass study at two popular crossing sites, Azalea Drive and Stromboli Avenue and Virginia Avenue and Noisette Boulevard. And they want to use the transportation sales tax funds to get the job done.
I think the initial understanding of the purpose is that longer trains will block traffic flow. So an overpass would be to provide connectivity. So even if the trains are operating, you still have that connection there that's a viable connection.
However, some are at a crossroads. A handful of Park Circle residents are concerned about having to make changes to the community to build the overpass.
We understand that there's some concern in the community regarding them, and this would never be done without a significant effort to include public input and perception and ideas of alternatives. It's not intended to impact the community. It's there to enhance the community, and we're trying to get ahead of this.
City and county leaders say the traffic could jump the tracks if planning doesn't keep pace. They invite the community to continue participating in public input to make sure it's the right path forward. For Live 5 News, Maya Brown.